Hey, how you doing, everybody? It's me, the green-haired one. And so just a few days ago, Mojang did something unprecedented. Autocrafting has officially been added to Minecraft. In Snapshot 23 W42A, a brand new block was added. No, I mean, sure, valid, it's only been a few days since this wonderful beauty was added to the game, but every single waking thought, urge, desire, and every single dream I've had too, it's been fully and wholly consumed by this bad boy. And so with that, laddies, I've taken the time to cook up 50 different uses for this brand new crafter. Down below, you let me know what's one great use for the auto crafter, and use number 1, auto crafting. Yes, that's right. We could use the brand new auto crafter workstation block that is beautiful on all sides, by the way, to auto craft. Mind-blowing. This auto crafter is a super beautiful looking block, and the UI inside of it, I mean, this is pretty intuitive, relatively straightforward here. You lock slots that you don't want to use, you put items in that you do want to use, and then you give it a little bit of power, and it'll do its thing. Minecraft is a bit of an older game now, like it's been around for 15 years as of next year. Maybe you're just sick of crafting, like you have crafted enough wooden swords in your day to be like, done manually crafting. If that's the case, all you need to do is queue up the ingredients inside of this new auto crafter, put a button on it, and voila, you're lazy crafter. 3000. No, alright, use number 1, use number 2. There were things. Definitely, technically, some of the uses of all time. Use number 3, mind-blowing, automatic auto crafter. This thing is so easy. We're gonna start with a crafter, then we're gonna place a comparator behind it and set it to subtract mode. We're gonna have it run into a block, redstone dust right there, repeater into a solid block. Over here, we're gonna take a composter, fill it all the way up with something, place the comparator, smashing into the side of that one. If you're planning on setting this up inside of your world, I highly recommend maybe use something a little bit like heavier, like a hay bale. The hay bale will fill up the composter pretty quickly. We need that filled up all the way. Now after that, let's say I had a little bit of bamboo and I wanted to throw it into this top chest. I go ahead and link it all the way up to the auto crafter, and check this out. As soon as the auto crafter fills up all the way, it's automatically crafting bamboo blocks for me. This simple little circuit right here, take a look at it, take a picture of it, and memorize it, lock it in. Because you can take this and put it on almost anything else we're going to talk about today. This is going to be one of the most important circuits to know when it comes to an auto crafter. For example, the dried kelp condenser 3000. And so we kick things off over here inside of a smoker, maybe an auto smelter. You hook it up to this crafter station. Then we throw the dried kelp inside of the crafter. Then with this auto crafter circuit hooked up right behind it, as soon as this thing fills up with all the dried kelp we need, the block is created and thrown right into this chest. That was beautiful. And why in the world would you use auto crafter to make the dried kelp block? Well, fuel, baby. This is one of the best easy to get fuels in the entire game. 20 items. So much it smelts. I mean, look, you fill it in with your imagination a little bit, but you can almost perfectly imagine it. You have auto smelter right on top of it, fueling the dried kelp right into this thing. Then you got the dried kelp blocks. Then you got your second auto smelter setup. And the dried kelp is the fuel. The bamboo condenser. Ah, yes, the bamboo condenser. I think bamboo farms hooked up to the auto crafter might be one of the most useful things in this update. This simple little bamboo farm, you would ideally probably scale it up and run straight into the auto crafter, and then because of the circuit back here, looks a little bit familiar. Well, because of that circuit that I set up back there, I've been crafting bamboo blocks the entire time I've been in this world. Whew. But then we take this whole setup over there and chain it into another auto crafter setup that this time is going to spit things straight into this chest. It's pretty beautiful. More specifically, bamboo planks. Oh, but wait, there's levels to this thing. Level number 1, bamboo farm into the crafter, it turns it into the logs. Then we turn it into the planks. After that, we go ahead and, I don't know, say maybe turn it into a slab machine. Kind of forgot my little power source right here. Imagine this as a fully automated circuit though, and yeah, just like that, bamboo slabs. Nice and easy. Layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, finally, layer number 4. Oh, the beautiful, beautiful bamboo mosaic block. Maybe we want to automate the crafting of bamboo mosaic blocks for our brand new next super textured build. Well, that's not a problem at all. Speaking of any good Minecraft build, I mean, it's a nice looking house, but how do you instantly level this house up? Oh, yeah, trapdoors. If you've seen any building video on YouTube, you know it's all trapdoors. I mean, instantly, I took this build from like a solid 3 all the way up to an 8 with a couple trapdoors. I mean, look, you imagine just how beautiful it would be if I took maybe all of the logs that I have in my world, queue them up to an auto crafter, hook up that auto circuit I showed you earlier on, and boom, just like that, I'm crafting all of this roost trapdoors I could have ever dreamed of in my life. It's like literally that easy. And you could carry this concept out for like, of course, any wood type in the entire game, or really any material, maybe fences or something that you use a lot in building. So they're just like always ready to go. The next farm that I would like to hook this thing up to show you its true potential is a beautiful sugarcane farm. So of course, again, with this thing, kinda just like with that bamboo farm over there, ideally you scale it up. You make it a really big sugarcane farm, high production. After that, we change some hoppers, hopper minecarts, whatever you want to do, into a crafter. Down here at the back, I got that same automatic beauty that I showed you before. That's gonna mean every single time 3 papers inside of that, well, 3 papers inside of it, 3 sugarcane right away. I mean, after all, who really needs this other sus-looking substance anyways? Now for this next one, it's back over to the beautiful Imagination Station. This farm, you go ahead and build a My Creeper farm inside of your world and hook it up with like a hoppers or something to a crafter on one side. And then on the other side, you hook up that paper farm we just built a second ago. We funnel these ingredients into this new crafter station in the right order. And just like that, I'm queuing up all the rockets I could have ever dreamed of. Now for this kind of circuit, you could use some kind of clock pulsing in gunpowder, then pulsing in paper, or you could kind of like alternate them somehow using hoppers. And even more beautifully, of course, keep in mind this could all be automated. You take the creepers out automatically, you harvest the paper automatically, you get the rockets fully automatically. So at this point, you could probably figure out why I've been dreaming about this block. Is so cool. Let's say I went on the best mining trip of my life and I have so many resources. I come back to my base, I have this station set up right here. Behind station, common theme, automatic circuit is set up. All I need to do is walk over to my storage building and drop all of my resources into it, and just like that, I'm going to condense everything right down into the solid block form. After that, I could either have automatic storage set up and filter it to where it goes, or I could just like walk over into the chest and say, hey, Cole, look at that. That's so many blocks. So look, we've all been there, down in the mines, grinding it out, you find a ton of copper. We mine the copper ore, just like that, we get loads and loads of copper. It's pretty crazy. Copper, because of how much drops from a single piece of ore, I mean, it like tends to clog up your inventory big time. I mean, look at that. With this little machine over here, I can take all of my copper profits, filter it into an autocrafter, automate the circuit, and just like that, it's all condensed down to the block. Now, even more beautifully, if I wanted to, I could take this block whenever I need it, and just like break it back down to the raw copper and smelt it up. Hey, side note though, did they change this or something? Like, that's pretty insane. That many stacks from 1 copper ore? They have to have changed that. Quick think fast, what's a really annoying thing to craft that you usually need a ton of? Did you answer chest? Because chest. Another potentially beautiful use for an autocrafter is maybe hook it up to your tree farm that is going to funnel logs into this thing. Now you know how it goes. You've been crafting things for a long time. And first things first, we're going to need to get the logs into the crafter and turn it into planks. But after we turn all this stuff into planks, we could easily take the planks and convert them straight into chests. You run this automatically at your base, and then anytime you need like a chest, or maybe even you set it up temporarily while you're building your big storage building, just like automating the crafting of chests in the background. So that way, whenever you're ready to like go over to the storage building and start placing your chests in, they're kind of just like ready to go. The Noah Khan machine, stick season. Maybe you need a lot of sticks for your build as well. The chest machine might be one of those things you set up temporarily at your base and then take it down once you have enough chests. But this thing, sticks, I mean, sticks are always a great thing to have. And now with this thing, I want to take a quick pause to talk about all of the potentials here. You could set one of these things up, run some auto circuits to it, and say, have like a stick machine. So anytime you might need sticks for a build, you'd walk over and drop your oak planks into the chest. Maybe right next to it, you could set up one for like, I don't know, slabs as well. So anytime you maybe need like slabs for your build, you just drop the planks in and give it a little bit of time. It'll get all the slabs ready. Maybe while you're like flattening the area out for your build or something like that. What's this? A multi-stage one, the bone meal machine. Step number 1, we have the pumpkin farm, and the pumpkin farm is fully automatic, of course. It's gonna funnel all of the pumpkins down into my autocrafter. Then I'm gonna go ahead and power the autocrafter, and it's gonna turn the pumpkins into seeds because of my setup right here. After that, we send the seeds into a composter. It's gonna automatically compost like all of that stuff, and maybe like eventually give us a little bit of bone meal. Alternatively, if we wanted to though, of course, we could just, I guess, skip the autocrafter and maybe compost the pumpkins themselves. That might be a little bit more efficient. However, for the purpose of this experiment today, no it's not. We use that automatic setup over there to get the bone meal. Then we take the bone meal over here and go ahead and bone meal some of the flowers. Now these flowers are conveniently being picked up by the hoppers and queued up into this thing. Because I have one slot locked right here, and because only one item can like combine in there, that's gonna go ahead and craft me up a bunch of red dye. Eventually, after it's done with the red dye, all of that stuff will funnel out. Then the next dye type, maybe like lilac or sunflower, who knows, the next dye type will filter in. It's an automatic dye machine. Just like that. Maybe you've seen the guide that I'm currently surviving and thriving, and I like it. If you haven't yet, you should check it out sometime. Common theme is inventory clogging up with pink petals because I decided to live inside of the metal. Maybe you are sick of it, you're done with pink petals clogging up your inventory. Well, not a problem at all. With the help of this handy little machine, every single pink petal will automatically be turned into pink dye for me. Not that a pink dye is necessarily more useful. I'm just sick of these flowers. I can't say them anymore. No, I like this one, the ore separator. So we talked a little bit earlier on, after your big mining trip, you go ahead and compact everything into solid blocks. Maybe a little bit later on, you want to go ahead and like auto smelt this stuff. But problem, it's already all compact. No problem at all actually, because we could use the autocrafter to actually decraft some things and send it into the furnace. No, not gonna lie, this is a little awkward. Kind of forgot that hoppers do need to go on top of a furnace to send things into it, so make some small adjustments to the setup and just like that, let our new fancy multi-stage auto smelter run for a little bit of time and we get iron for free. So far, the autocrafter, of course, is wonderful in different machines and contraptions. Gonna be super great to have. But with this beauty, it's definitely not all just redstone. If you know me, I consider myself something of a farmer, but also a little bit of a builder myself. This autocrafter block, because of the rotational placement stuff here, is really great for building. We got a lot of different possibilities, including one of the most expensive but coolest looking factory floors you've seen in your life. Look at this thing. Because of this grating, the grid right there, it almost looks like there's like maybe lava or something below it, or maybe even just like circuitry, power line, something like that. To get this floor in, it's pretty straightforward. You just crouch and place the crafters in the crafters. They'll all line up just like that and voila. So that's one floor, kind of with like the red lines going that way. How about another floor with the red lines connecting this time and a little bit more, maybe like design going on? For this other cool crafter floor, we're going to start by creating a small grid pattern on the ground. Then we're going to flip around the exact opposite direction and essentially create the same grid, but going in the other direction. By creating a grid like this, we kind of interlock these little redstone bits and make it look pretty fire. I like the side of the crafter block. It's cool looking. It's like a crafting table, but modernized. You could put these crafter blocks at the bottom of maybe like a stone-colored wall for a pretty solid looking base. Okay, it has a face. That's an eye, and I don't know if that's a mustache or a mouth, but it has a face. With a couple things, we go ahead and make a friend for our single-player world. Look at that boy right there. Maybe that's like Mumbo Jumbo, created in person, in the flesh. Got the legs, got the arms. And of course, that handsome mustache. Beautiful. Circles. There's circles inside of Minecraft. I don't know how to feel about this one, but it's like okay, look, I'll admit it. Maybe it's more like a rounded rectangle or something like that, but you place them on the ground facing up with a mustache staring into your soul, and you got circles. Or a crazy cool looking floor with pipes. Hi, it's me, Waddles, and I would like to welcome you to my crib. So here we have our front door, double door, very expensive and nice. We walk in, turn to the left, and boom, my kitchen. Oh, my kitchen with kitchen cabinets up top. Look at that. The uppers up there, and even better, we could like interact with these things. Oh, what's that? Iron in the kitchen. Yeah, we eat crazy things in my house. Welcome, look at that. They're actually like storage cabinets inside of a kitchen with like the gray that matches. Whew, that's clean. Let's level that up a little bit more though with a storage building. So we've all been there. We have a storage room with like redstone, but then like also redstone accessories. Because of the crafter is a block that kind of just like holds things inside of it. You could use this as like maybe a smaller cabinet or just a cool decorative way to store things. Cool way to store things. Ooh, we're talking fancy double chests. Now look, I'll admit it, it's not very cost efficient at all, but we go ahead and figure out the placement of these blocks and then we won't be able to be stopped. Check this out. We got a handle on that side, a handle on that side. It's kind of like a double chest, right? You can see it. In your next evil looking build, consider using this thing on a wall turned forward as some kind of cool wall vent. And then finally, the very bottom of this block, it's a fascinating looking bottom. It almost looks like maybe like a blast furnace or the bottom of a stone cutter or something like that. It's clean looking. Use that on a wall. We are now over halfway through our list today. This is your quick reminder to delete that like button for me. Alrighty lads, so this next idea here is a little bit more like server focused. I was imagining this as maybe like an armor shop on your local SMP. At this shop, you would like pay the price to walk into it and use it. I don't know, maybe it's like emeralds, diamonds, something else, who knows. But anyways, you pay the price, then you walk into the shop and you could pick whatever you're trying to buy here. Maybe you want to buy a diamond helmet or something like that. Well, you press the button and just like that, you accidentally got a chest plate too. Alright, so when you set it up in your server, maybe space them out a little bit more, but yeah, the concept here is pretty straightforward. An auto armor crafter, or really anything that you're trying to sell inside of your local server. It's pretty cool. The easy equip, check this out. We want our redstone compact for this one. We have an input chest that would fuel everything in with a hopper. Then we have everything inside of the crafter. If I stand right here and use this button, the armor is not only crafted, but thrown straight on me. Even more cool, that's all happening in one step right here. It moves straight through the dispenser. That's so cool. Next up, let's automate the crafting of, say, I don't know, a crafting table. Maybe you're just sick of crafting them and you want them fully automatically and easily dropped into your life. Look at that. And while we're at it, the furnace, those are kind of annoying to craft as well. I mean, why not? If we're gonna fully automate the crafting of crafting tables, we might as well fully automate the crafting of its best friend as well. Alright, so this next one, this is a little bit more advanced. The hopper machine. For this recipe, we're gonna first need to lock the slots that we don't need. After that, we're gonna need to somehow filter these things in the correct order. A warning, I have not tested this quite yet, but I think this should theoretically work. Oh, it's gonna work. Just like that, a hopper machine. If we could get our redstone timing and circuitry just right, this might be a big, useful one. After all, hoppers are pretty useful in just about every single Minecraft farm that you're gonna wanna create. At least the automatic ones. Now, speaking of farms, my favorite farm in the world, the farm that I just recently built inside of my world, the iron farm. If you've ever built an iron farm inside of your world, you know they kind of unfortunately have a tendency to get a little bit clogged up. Let's say we let our iron farm run for a little bit of time and we were looking at a chest that was really full. We could hook it up to an automatic crafter and condense everything down into iron blocks. That might take up a little bit less storage than your old-fashioned iron farm. Okay, so a little disclaimer. For this next one, we'll probably want to set up a little bit of a better containing area, like something to catch all the snow perfectly, but just really quick here, I went ahead and made this little setup. I go ahead and use this shovel right here, and I have it a hopper minecart pick everything up. It's thrown into the hopper, and then just like that, I'm having snow blocks condensed down and put into the chest. This thing right here, this might be one of the best uses for the auto crafter. Crafting up like snowballs that fills up your inventory so quickly, it's so annoying. Again, if I was like containing these things a little bit better, maybe with like some better placed blocks all around this thing would be an evil, mean, making snow creating machine. And kind of just like that farm, there are other farms that kind of almost want to create blocks in the game. Say a dripstone machine. We could fully automate a pointed dripstone machine and just like that, create the dripstone block for maybe like your next build or your other dripstone farms that you're trying to create. Also, one thing I missed in the snapshot video, if you didn't notice, you can link this thing straight up to a chest and it stores it like right away. No hoppers necessary. A pot farm. Because of the autocrafter, it's now possible to make an automatic pot farm inside of your world. Just load some bricks up into this machine and you can make the big pot, or if you wanted to, like you're quick enough, you can make small pot too. Melons. They're another one of those things that you would maybe like set a farm up for in your world, but you don't really want to necessarily eat the melon slice. After all, it's like not that good of a food. Let's say we had a multi-stage melon farm going on. We've got our piston observer loop to automatically harvest the melons, but unfortunately, they're turned into melon slices. Fortunately, after that, the autocrafter comes into play and we condense them straight back into this block. Maybe you're using this for like a crazy wallpaper in your base or decorating or I don't know, you really wanted 1.21 to be like a desert update, so you want to build giant cactus. I have no clue. Sliding into the final countdown today, we send it over to the devs themselves. For this one, a big shout out to one of our community managers, Jay. So this thing right here, it's a very simple version of it, but it is perfect, it's beautiful. We could set up an auto crafter to automate the crafting of one of the most annoying things to craft in the entire game, bows. Then of course, if you wanted to, you could set this up with like a, I don't know, a dispenser and automatically craft those things too, but either way, at the least, automatically queuing up perfect bows. For the next time, we need a bow or something with a bow. This next one is one that I showed off in the original snapshot showcase video. I made like a different, more messy clock for it, but look at that. Automatically crafting up logs. Maybe next time you're building one of those really giant, cool custom trees that I kind of low-key, high-key kind of hate to build. Well, you got this thing running, so you got all the logs you could ever need. For these next couple ones on our list today, we're going to go a little bit more rapid fire. I've got a couple different farms in mind that you could hook this thing up to at the end of to ease your life. Farm number one, a gold farm. You're using your gold farm. Unfortunately, you get a lot of gold nuggets. Well, no, you don't. You use the crafter, turn them into ingots. How about a slime farm as well? A farm that tends to clog up a lot. Just like with gold ingots, slime blocks are another one of those things that you can condense down into a solid block and then change your mind a little bit later on and take the materials back out. This farm gets a little bit more advanced here, but let's say we had an automatic villager farm harvesting of wheat for me. I could funnel the wheat into the autocrafter and have hay bales crafted automatically. But I feel like there's something wrong with my villagers. They don't look okay. But what if I told you the crafter, it doesn't only have to craft. Of course, we talked about how it could do storage, but also maybe it could be like some kind of switch or something as well. Maybe you're sick of people opening your secret door or something? Well, look at this. We could have a crafter placed down in our base. It looks like just a decoration or something, but we go ahead and toggle slots on or off, and we get a little bit more, a little bit less power. You could use it for maybe like a combo lock, or at the least like a cool way to power your farm. Or we go ahead and expand that one into secret doors. So look, with this very, very rudimentary basic setup right here, it is a little bit obvious, but maybe you spend a little bit more time and hide it a little bit better. We've got a crafter over here. If I start deselecting these slots, eventually my secret door is going to start to open. Select enough of them and boom, the door is open. Now right here, this is a really, really basic redstone circuit. I didn't even bother to invert it or anything like that, but of course, you could invert it as well, so like, basically, you have to select the slots instead to actually power the door. The secret door, secret staircase, secret room, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. Crafter could be an inconspicuous toggle. Let's go back to the building for a second to check out the world's most expensive wall. I'm telling you guys, it's a cool looking wall, but oh, that's gonna be expensive. A crafting table, a dropper inside of this thing. That's a lot. Maybe a little bit more smaller scale, you're building the back rooms or something like that. You want filing cabinets inside of the back rooms with maybe like items inside of it for your map or something. Or maybe even just like a filing cabinet for all of your files. Frostwalker, sharpness, feather falling, sharpness. Yeah, it's a small filing cabinet. That's kind of like the handle too. It works out so well. Alas, and here we are. Number 50, the very final use for the autocrafter today.
It's looking bigger and bolder than ever. The TNT Eater, or should I say the Super Eater. Just got a big upgrade.
Alright, so 50 different uses for the crafter. What do you think? Does that get your brain flowing? Did you come up with another potential use for it? If you did, tell me all about it down below. Of course, today for a lot of these farms, I'm just showing you like a basic concept here, and of course, also, there are other ways to do this automated circuit stuff. This was really meant to just kind of open your mind to the autocrafter if you're still in doubt to how big of a deal this thing is, or you just maybe like don't really know how to use it. This thing is still so early on in its lifespan too, so who knows, maybe by the time 1.21 actually releases next year, it'll get even more useful. At the least though, if you're watching this next year, we'll hide from the past. Make sure you tap like and subscribe, and all of these other uses should work perfectly fine. And check out my 1.21 playlist on the end card for even more cool ideas, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.